My name is Darren Conley. I'm the principal at Elyria High. Appreciate you inviting me here tonight. This is a problem, the littering, the loitering, kids skipping classes that we've been dealing with. I graduated from Elyria High School in 1981. I grew up on the west side of Elyria over in the Cascade School area, and went to Cascade School in Jefferson when it was a junior high, and now I find myself back here. I understand, I think, the dynamics of the city, and I understand the dynamics of some of the kids. And it's Mr. Davidson. Mr. Davidson said, you know, it's a small percentage of our kids, and it is. And I want to, you know, we keep trying to point that out to people who call it and question, you know, why are those kids out there? And it is, you know, it's the corner of 5th and West, and we can come out and shoo them along, and I'm sure the police department would say the same thing. In 15 minutes, they'll be back, and it becomes a problem that is bigger than what we can deal with alone, what the city can deal with alone. We need some parent involvement, but we are looking at doing away with school lunch or home lunches during the 2011 school year when we have capacity to feed all of those students. Because right now, I guess we could feed them, but there's no place for them to sit in the current cafeteria, the way it's set up, and with the time slots that we have for feeding the students. So when you call, please don't feel like my calls are going unheard. I don't know if you've seen me out running around. You know, we thought that we were going to have a lot better control this year because we closed off several of the exits that they used to get out of, and they come through West Avenue now, and I know that creates a whole nother issue for people living in that area with the traffic at certain times of the day. But we thought we were going to have a lot better control of that, and I think there is better control. It's just, you know, we don't have a handle on letting them understand that other people's property needs to be respected, just like you'd want your own property respected. That's what we're working toward. We are currently producing our WEHS TV station is currently producing a piece, and we're going to have our mascot Petey with the tear. I don't know if you guys remember the old commercial with the Native Americans standing on the side of the highway when somebody threw out a bag of trash and the tear came down. We're going to have Petey with the tear coming down, and to try to show them this is Elyria, you need to be proud of this. This is your school, because it's not only those yards, it's our new parking lot that, you know, we're having issues with littering. So we do hear your concerns, and we are.
It's definitely a problem, and I was looking into myself. My parents live on West Avenue. I was checking in with maybe seeing if Burger King and McDonald's would buy garbage cans so that you're in the parks and use solid black grant money, or somebody help me out here, Ted. Solid waste grant money from Lorraine County. So it's something I'd still like to look into, and if we could have the sanitation. The other problem is puts more work on our sanitation workers, but I think that would definitely help. Even, I'm just not saying in my neighborhood, but any heavily trafficked.
How would the residents along that West Avenue feel about having those in there?
Well,
along their yards?
the ones I'll tell, I don't think they would have a problem. There is one on the corner of 3rd Street and West Avenue on the west side, but I don't think the YMCA on the corner of 4th Street, I don't think they would have a problem. We'd have to talk to Janine. So,
As was said, you know, the studies show that people, you know, you have to have trash receptacles every so many feet, about every 10 steps or so. So part of the solution may be through what you described as far as grant money for the receptacles to begin with, and then our sanitation department to pick it up. We'd have to place them on a given block, probably at each corner and 1 or 2 spots in between. So we have, city has legal authority to place them in the curb lawn, just near the sidewalk, and perhaps put a concrete pad down and place them. But some people would be happy to have that, so it would eliminate the likelihood of trash being placed, but some people would object to that. So I don't know if perhaps you can facilitate some process to go down the street to see who's willing to have one. You know, perhaps we can acquire a picture or even a sample of what the product, what the can may be like.
we're trying to use a standard can. We got the solid waste grant would have to be
We have
made out of
limitations.
recycled material, so we can look into that. But I think this is probably,
I think it's important to identify who living along West Avenue would be
okay.
amenable to having the trash receptacle in their curb line.
And I think we could, this isn't only a my neighborhood problem, this is citywide, so any junior highs, any schools, I think, like we said, again, it helped tremendously. I pushed the school board. I thought it was a small miracle. I came home and I saw these trash bins around Elyria High School. I go, oh my gosh. So it definitely helped a great deal.
Well, understand that all parties, schools, the city, we all, none of us want to see these conditions exist. Obviously, we're all operating on just shoestring budgets, minimal personnel, etc. And you know, we all want to do our best to do this. You know, perhaps Mr. Connolly, in a supplement as a detention, maybe students who want to volunteer for community service points. You might have another pool of students that might be inclined to do that, perhaps. Something to consider. And there's a number of churches in the neighborhood. The churches might be, willing to do something like that to help supplement it. But I think we can work something out to have receptacles along the street, and then our sanitation department to collect them. So we'll attempt to do that. Mr. McCullough?
Good afternoon. My name is Jeffrey McCullough. It's well and good we're talking about the high school, and that might eliminate some of the problems up there with the trash. We'd have to put trash cans throughout the south side, because the south side of Elyria, the Fifth Ward, is more than just the high school. So we need to look at the entire neighborhood of the south side. We look at some of these abandoned buildings that's been sitting there, factories, grocery stores, and whatnot that's been sitting there, and there's trash throughout those. Are you going to put trash cans there too? We need to look at the whole entire area as far as litter, and I know we've gone over this abandoned houses, whatnot, but abandoned buildings have been there for years and years. When are we going to start making some of these absentee landlords accountable, as well as some of these property owners of these buildings, of these large buildings, of these companies?
On the subject of the vacant and abandoned, both commercial buildings as well as residential, we've been clamping down on it quite severely over the last 2 or 3 years. It came out of the 2015 planning process that desired that the city be more aggressive at dealing with those matters. So we've been, much more aggressive at dealing with that, citing people. Number of people have been going to court. We've even had at least one, I think a couple parties even in jail because they didn't maintain their property. We've gone to great lengths, and we've even gone so far as having houses demolished. Schools have come forward. They've even acquired some property, not just in their footprint, but even across the street. So we've worked closely together on some of the property across the street from the high school. You've noticed some of that. That's helping in that regard. The neighborhood stabilization money that was referenced, that program is beginning, but there are pretty strict limitations. The properties largely have to be in a foreclosure process, whereas many of these properties you're speaking of, they've been abandoned largely, but they're not in a foreclosure, so they may not be eligible for us to seize those properties, to acquire those properties. But we're aggressively looking. The south side is an area that we are focusing on. We're focusing also on the main streets, Middle Avenue, West Avenue, as far as the south side is concerned, East Avenue as well. So it's about $2.5 million. $2.5 million sounds like a bit, but it will go fast and it won't go as far as we'd like. So we want to target those locations. Again, the main drags primarily, and then I think the south side is where we're focusing those